The storm came without warning. Commander Ethan Cross gripped the controls of his small escape pod as lightning tore across the alien sky. His main ship had exploded minutes ago, hit by strange energy that came out of nowhere. The only thing left between him and death was this burning capsule falling through clouds of violet fire. "Hold together, please," he whispered as alarm screamed around him. The pod hit the ground hard. Metal cracked, smoke filled the air, and for a moment there was only silence. Ethan's ears rang. His head throbbed. He pushed open the hatch and climbed out into a world that felt both alive and haunted. The sky above him glowed dark blue, with two moons watching like pale eyes. The ground shimmered with glowing moss that pulsed softly under his boots. The air was warm and heavy, but it smelled sweet, like flowers mixed with electricity. Ethan took a few careful steps, scanning the land with his wrist scanner. The display flickered. The planet's name appeared in faded text, Valora, classified. "Do not land, great," he muttered. "A forbidden planet. Just my luck." In the distance, huge crystal trees rose like towers, their branches spreading wide and shining like silver veins. Small blue sparks drifted in the air, fireflies made of light. Everything was quiet, too quiet. Ethan's radio clicked with static. "Control, this is Commander Cross. Do you read me?" "Nothing. Only a low hum, like something deep underground was breathing." He started walking, looking for shelter. As he moved through the glowing forest, he noticed strange shapes carved into the trees, long faces, tall figures, and writing in a language he didn't know. Then he saw it, half buried in the dirt. There was an old metal sign, rusted, broken, but the human letters were still clear. "Warning, 105 years without a man." Ethan froze. "What does that even mean?" He whispered. He looked around again. The forest seemed to shift. The air grew thicker, like it was watching him. He heard faint footsteps, light, quick, all around him. He drew his blaster and spun around. "Who's there?" No answer. Only the rustle of leaves. Then movement. A shadow passed between the trees, tall and fast. Another behind him. Then another. "Stay back!" he shouted, voice echoing. A soft laugh came from the darkness. Why, not one, but many. Feminine, melodic. It chilled him to the bone. Shapes began to appear in the blue mist. Dozens of figures stepped out, and all women, tall and shining faintly in the dark. Their skin glowed with faint silver patterns, and their eyes reflected the twin moons like glass. Their hair flowed like liquid metal, and strange markings glowed on their arms. Ethan took a step back. His blaster shook in his hand. The tallest of them moved closer. She was beautiful, but there was something dangerous in the way she smiled. Too sharp, too calm. "A man," she whispered in a soft alien accent. "After so long, a real man," the others murmured, eyes wide with wonder and hunger. Some reached out, their fingers glowing blue. Ethan stumbled back, but there were too many of them. They surrounded him in a circle of light. "Wait," he shouted. "I'm not your enemy. I come in peace." One of them tilted her head. "Peace?" she repeated, almost tasting the word. "Strange. Your kind did not bring peace before." Ethan frowned. "Before? What do you mean before? There were humans here?" None answered. The tall woman raised her hand and the others fell silent. "You will come with us. The Queen must see you." "The Queen?" "Yes," she said. "The Queen of Valora. She will decide if you live." They moved fast. Two of them grabbed Ethan's arms. Their touch was warm, almost electric, and made his skin tingle painfully. He tried to resist, but they were strong, stronger than any human he'd ever met. They led him through the glowing forest, their feet silent on the moss. Strange bluebirds watched from the trees, their eyes shining like small stars. The path ahead curved into a valley filled with light. When they reached it, Ethan stopped in awe. Before him stood a massive city built of crystal and stone. Towers of light rose high into the mist. Bridges floated in the air, connecting platforms that shimmered like glass. Everything glowed softly, breathing like it was alive. The women led him across a long bridge into a huge hall. The walls were covered in silver vines and the floor pulsed with blue light. In the center sat a throne carved from one single crystal, and on it, a woman unlike the rest. She was taller, her presence commanding. Her eyes were bright gold and her skin glowed faintly white instead of silver. Around her neck hung a pendant shaped like a human skull, small, ancient, and real. Ethan's heart raced. The tall warrior bowed. My queen. We found him near the forbidden ruins. The queen's golden eyes fixed on Ethan. She stood and walked slowly toward him. The air seemed to bend with each step she took. When she spoke, her voice was soft yet full of power. So it is true. The Skyfire has brought us another. Another? Ethan asked. I'm not. Her eyes narrowed. Silence. She touched his face, studying him like a strange creature. Warm blood, strong pulse, human. Ethan tried to pull away. Who are you people? The queen smiled faintly. We are the Velari, the last daughters of Velora. And you. She leaned closer, her breath cold as ice. You are the first man to set foot here in 105 years. The hall went silent. Every alien woman stared at him as if he were a ghost. The queen's expression darkened. Our ancestors warned us this day would come. The prophecy speaks of the Skyfire man, the one who will either save us or doom us all. Ethan felt the room grow colder. The women began to chant softly, their voices echoing like wind through stone. The queen raised her hand. Take him to the Temple of Dawn. He will face the judgment of the stars. Before Ethan could speak, the warriors dragged him away. Outside, thunder rolled across the sky. The glowing forest trembled as if the planet itself knew what was coming, and as the queen watched him disappear into the mist, she whispered almost to herself, After 105 years, the curse begins again. The night air on Velora felt alive. Ethan Cross walked between two tall warriors as they led him through glowing tunnels carved deep into crystal rock. The walls pulsed with soft blue light, and strange runes glimmered like moving water. Every few steps he saw carvings of human faces on the stone. Men, their eyes closed, their mouths open in silence. The sound of the warriors' footsteps echoed faintly. They never spoke. Their movements were calm, perfect, too smooth to be natural. The air smelled of metal and flowers, sharp and sweet at once. Ethan tried to stay calm, but his heart pounded hard. His wrists were wrapped in silver bands that felt warm, almost alive. When he tried to pull them apart, they tightened like muscles. Where are you taking me? He asked. One warrior finally spoke without turning her head. To the queen's sanctuary. She is called the Circle. Circle? The leaders of our tribes, she said. They will decide your purpose, Ethan frowned. My purpose? I just crashed here. I don't even know where here is. She didn't answer. They entered a wide chamber shaped like a dome. The ceiling sparkled with thousands of lights that moved slowly, like stars breathing. Around the room stood dozens of alien women, tall, glowing, each different in color and pattern. Some had markings like fire, others like frost. Their eyes watched him closely, curious, cautious, hungry. At the far end of the chamber stood Queen Lysara. She sat on a floating crystal throne that rotated slowly in midair. Her golden eyes glowed faintly, watching Ethan with a calm that felt almost dangerous. Bring him forward, she said. Her voice was soft, but it filled the room like thunder. Ethan stepped closer. The queen studied him for a long moment. You are human, she said. Your kind left this world long ago. I didn't even know this world existed, Ethan said. I'm not here by choice. My ship, we know, she interrupted. The Skyfire. We saw it fall. She stood, walking closer until her shadow covered him. Do you know what happened the last time your kind came here? Ethan shook his head. No. Lysara turned and pointed to the wall behind her. It shimmered and changed, showing glowing images of humans, men and women, smiling beside Velari tribes. Then the images shifted. The humans began to die, their faces twisted in pain. The Velari wept over them. Then something changed in their eyes. They began to draw glowing energy from the dead bodies. The men's skin turned gray. The women glowed brighter. Ethan felt cold all over. What am I looking at? Lysara spoke slowly. A plague came from your people. It killed all our men and your kind. We learned to survive by taking the life force of others. It became our only way. She turned to him, her golden eyes shining. For 105 years, no man has lived here. Until you, the crowd of alien women murmured. Some whispered words Ethan couldn't understand. A warrior with white hair stepped forward. Her name was Naira, judging by the others' whispers. Her eyes burned red and her voice was sharp. We should destroy him before the curse spreads again. Another voice answered, calmer, older. No, he could be the one the prophecy spoke of. Lysara raised her hand. Silence. The hall went quiet. The stars will decide his fate. The circle will test him. Naira stepped closer to Ethan, sneering. If he fails, his energy will feed the tribe. His death will not be wasted. Ethan glared at her. You can't just... The queen cut him off. You will speak when asked, human. 2 guards pulled him away to a smaller chamber. The walls here were filled with silver symbols that moved like living light. A glowing pool sat in the center. Steam rose from it, carrying a strange, sweet scent that made his head spin. This is the pool of echoes, one guard said. Here, your truth will be seen. Ethan shook his head. I'm not doing this. I didn't come here to... Before he could finish, the guards pushed him toward the pool. His body hit the warm surface, and instantly his vision blurred. He tried to climb out, but his limbs grew heavy, his heart beating slow. Then the world changed. He was no longer in the chamber. He stood in an endless field of blue light. Shapes moved around him, memories, images from his life. He saw Earth, his mother, the academy, the war that destroyed half of humanity. He saw his ship explode again, the fire swallowing him whole. But there was something else, the queen standing in the light. Watching his memories as if they were her own, she reached out, touching his chest. So much pain, she whispered. Your world burns and you run from your own ghosts. Ethan tried to pull away. Stop, get out of my head! Her voice grew soft. Your energy is pure. You are not like the others who came before. You could bring balance. The light shattered. Ethan gasped and opened his eyes. He was lying beside the pool, shaking. The guard stood frozen. Queen Lysera knelt beside him, her hands glowing faintly. The pool has spoken, she said quietly. He carries the fire of creation and destruction. Naira's angry voice echoed through the chamber. You can't trust him. He will doom us. Lysera stood tall. No, he will stay. The prophecy must be fulfilled. The warriors bowed their heads, some in fear, others in anger. Ethan sat up slowly, breathing hard. What prophecy? Lysera looked at him with eyes that seemed to see right through his soul. The stars told of a man who would fall from the sky. He would either save our world or end it forever. She turned away, her golden cloak glowing in the dim light. From this moment you are under my protection. Skyfire man, but remember, protection does not mean safety. The guards lifted him up, leading him out of the chamber. As the doors closed, Ethan looked back one last time. The queen was still watching him, and in her golden eyes he saw both kindness and a secret fear she would not speak. Outside, the city lights shimmered under the twin moons. Somewhere in the shadows, Naira whispered to her soldiers, her voice cold and sharp. If the queen will not kill him, I will. The twin moons of Vialora hung above the crystal city, their light painting everything in silver and blue. The air felt heavy that night, as if the planet itself was holding its breath. Inside the great Temple of Dawn, hundreds of glowing lanterns floated above a circular pool that shimmered with strange golden light. Ethan Cross stood at the center, his wrist still wrapped with living silver bands. His heart beat faster than ever. Around him, the alien women, the Vailari, stood in silent rows, their eyes reflecting the light like mirrors. He could feel their energy pressing against him, curious, powerful, and dangerous. At the far end of the temple stood Queen Lysera, dressed in robes that rippled like liquid light. Her golden eyes never left him. To her right stood General Nira, her expression cold and sharp like a blade. The ritual of rebirth begins, Lysera said, her voice echoing through the chamber. The stars have chosen this night to test the Skyfire man. The Vailari began to chant softly. The sound was haunting, a low hum that made the air vibrate. The golden pool began to glow brighter. Ethan tried to stay calm. What are you going to do to me? Lysera stepped closer. This ritual will reveal your true nature. If your spirit is pure, you will live. If not, she paused. The pool will take your energy to feed our world. Ethan's eyes widened. So if I fail, I die? Naira smiled faintly. No, human. You become useful. Before Ethan could move, 2 warriors pushed him down to his knees. The warmth from the pool touched his skin like liquid fire. He looked up at Lysera, trying to find some trace of mercy in her golden eyes. Please, he said. I didn't come here to harm anyone. I'm just... Her hand touched his forehead. Instantly, a burst of light blinded him. The world spun. He felt something reach inside his mind, deep, searching, pulling. He wasn't in the temple anymore. He was standing in darkness. Then slowly, Light bloomed around him, showing broken memories. His childhood home, his first space mission, the faces of people he lost. He heard voices, laughter, screams, echoes of Earth. Lysara's voice came through the light, soft but sharp. "Show me what you are, Skyfire Man." Her form appeared beside him, glowing faintly gold. Her eyes watched his memories as they flickered past. She saw the wars, the ruined cities, the desperate faces of humankind. "So much destruction," she whispered. "Your people burned their own world." Ethan's fists clenched. "Not all of us wanted that. We tried to fix it." "I tried." The light shifted again. Now they stood before a sea of stars. Lysara touched his chest. "You carry both life and death inside you," she said. "A human heart, but a storm within." Ethan looked around, confused. This isn't real." "It is as real as your truth," she said. "You can hide from us, but not from the pool." Then the vision changed again. Lysara gasped as she saw something dark inside him. A fire spreading across worlds. The same fire that once destroyed her people. "No," she whispered. "It cannot be." Ethan tried to speak, but the world broke apart again. A flash of energy exploded, throwing them both back. He opened his eyes on the temple floor, gasping for breath. The golden pool now burned white-hot, waves of light crashing against the walls. The Vailari cried out, shielding their eyes. Lysara lay nearby, her body trembling. Sparks of gold danced across her skin. Ethan crawled toward her. "What happened?" Her voice shook. "Your mind. It was too strong. I saw your world, your pain, your fire. It nearly consumed me." Naira stormed forward, her red eyes blazing. "He attacked you!" "I warned you he was dangerous." Ethan struggled to his feet. "No, I didn't do anything. I don't even understand what's happening." Naira drew her weapon, a long spear of blue energy. "Then you will understand death, human." Before she could strike, Lysara raised her hand. A wave of golden light stopped Naira mid-motion. "Enough!" The queen stood tall, though her strength wavered. "The pool spoke," she said. "He carries the fire of creation and destruction. That is what the prophecy said." The crowd murmured in awe. Some bowed. Others looked afraid. Naira's voice was full of anger. "You're letting emotion blind you, my queen." "He's a threat, a curse." Lysara's eyes turned cold. "No, he is hope, or the test we deserve." The hall went silent again. Lysara looked at Ethan. "You are not a prisoner anymore. You will remain under my watch. You will learn our ways, and we will learn yours." Ethan hesitated. "And if I refuse?" She stepped closer, her golden aura flickering like a flame. "Then the planet itself will decide your fate. No one escapes Vailora." The guards released him. His legs trembled as he stood. He looked around. Hundreds of glowing eyes still watched him. The weight of their stares felt heavier than chains. Lysara turned to her people. "The ritual is complete. The stars have chosen to keep him among us. Let it be known. The Skyfire Man belongs to Vailora." A strange sound followed. Not applause, but a deep humming that vibrated through the temple. The Vailari bowed their heads. The queen's robe shimmered as she stepped back toward her throne. As Ethan walked out, he felt a strange warmth spreading through his body. The same energy from the pool, now inside him. It pulsed with his heartbeat. He glanced back at the queen one last time. Her golden eyes met his, full of both mystery and sorrow. Outside, the wind howled through the glowing trees. The city lights reflected on the silver rivers. Ethan stopped and looked at the moons above. He knew one thing for sure: Vailora was not just alive. It was watching him. Somewhere in the shadows, Naira watched too, her spear glowing faint red. Her voice was cold as the night wind. "The prophecy may protect him for now," she whispered. "But when the stars fall silent, I will end him myself." The days on Vailora passed slowly, marked by glowing dawns and twin moon nights. Ethan Cross no longer wore chains, but freedom on this planet felt like a cage made of light. Everywhere he went, eyes followed him, curious, fearful, or full of silent hunger. The Vailari treated him like a strange miracle, a living relic of a forgotten age. Queen Lysara kept her promise. He was allowed to walk through the shining city, always shadowed by two silent guards. He ate their glowing fruit, learned their strange language, and watched how their energy crystals powered everything, from floating bridges to singing fountains. But what haunted him most were the carvings. Everywhere in the city, the walls told stories, and not in words, but in shapes. Men standing beside Velari women, smiling, building together, then the men vanishing. The women crying, and finally, the women standing alone, surrounded by fire. Every story ended the same way, with a man falling from the sky and the planet covered in light. One night, Ethan couldn't sleep. The energy inside him, born from the ritual, kept pulsing in his veins like a second heartbeat. He stepped out onto the balcony of the chamber the Queen had given him. From there he could see the glowing forests stretching for miles, and far in the distance, the dark mountain with a bright light at its heart. The guards called it the Moonstone, a sacred mountain forbidden to all. The story said the first men of Velora were buried beneath it. Ethan's instincts whispered, "That's where the answers are." He waited until the city dimmed for night. When the air shimmered with faint starlight, then quietly he slipped past his guards. The energy inside him seemed to guide his path, pulling him toward the mountain. The journey took hours. The deeper he went into the forest, the quieter it became. Even the glowing insects stayed away from that direction. The air smelled strange, metallic and burnt. Finally, he reached the base of the Moonstone. A massive crystal peak rose high into the sky, its surface smooth like glass, pulsing faintly with blue veins of light. An old tunnel yawned open at the base, half covered in roots and mist. Ethan hesitated, then stepped inside. The tunnel walls were covered in symbols that glowed softly as he passed. Human words mixed with alien script. Expedition 3, Commander Hayes. Energy unstable. Do not... The rest was burned away, his flashlight flickered. The air buzzed like electricity. Then ahead the tunnel opened into a huge underground chamber. Ethan froze. There, half buried in crystal, was a massive human ship. The old Earth flag was still visible on its side, faded and cracked. It was an Ark-class vessel, one of the first human colony ships. His breath caught in his throat. No way. He climbed down the rock slope and touched the cold hull. It hummed faintly under his fingers. When he pressed a button on his wrist scanner, it blinked weakly. Power detected. Ethan found a side hatch cracked open. He squeezed through the gap. The inside smelled like dust and ozone. Empty cryopods lined the walls, most shattered or covered in vines. Bones, human bones, and were scattered across the floor. He crouched beside one pod and brushed off the nameplate. Dr. Eleanor Cross, his heart stopped. Mom! The shock hit him like a punch. His mother's name. His family ship. The colony that disappeared a century ago. It all made sense now. The men of Velora, they weren't aliens. They were humans. His ancestors. Ethan stumbled backward, feeling dizzy. He looked at the wall. A small flickering hollow panel blinked alive as if sensing his presence. Static filled the air, and then a woman's tired face appeared. His mother, much older than he remembered. If you're seeing this, we failed. The energy here, it's alive. It feeds on us. The women who survived the first exposure changed. Their bodies adapted, but they lost something. They forgot who they were. We tried to warn them, but they turned on us. The recording glitched. If a man ever returns to this world, tell him. Velora remembers. But not everything that remembers loves you. The message cut out. Ethan stood there, silent. The truth felt heavier than gravity. The Velari weren't alien at all. They were what humanity became, twisted by the planet's living energy. The plague wasn't a virus. It was Velora itself. He turned to leave, but stopped when he saw a faint glow behind the ship. A tall figure stepped out of the shadows. General Nira. I knew you would come here, she said coldly. Curiosity is such a human weakness. Ethan aimed his blaster. You followed me? She smiled. You are predictable. The Queen may believe in your prophecy, but I see what you truly are. A key to our extinction. She raised her hand and the air around her shimmered red. This ship holds poison memories. The Queen forbade us from entering for a reason. Ethan took a step back. You lied to your people. You hid what they really are. Nira's smile vanished. They are survivors. Humans brought death here. We became more than you. She struck her spear into the ground. Energy erupted, shaking the chamber. The old ship groaned, crystal cracks spreading across its hull. Stop, Ethan shouted. You'll bury us both. But Nira didn't stop. The ground split open. Ethan jumped toward the exit as the floor collapsed behind him. The ship exploded with blinding light and the mountain roared like thunder. He ran, gasping as the tunnel caved in. Finally, he burst out into the open air, covered in dust and glowing fragments. The moonstone's peak was now cracked, shining like a broken heart. From the city below, sirens echoed, crystal alarms that sounded like screams. Ethan fell to his knees, staring at the glowing ruins in the distance. He whispered, "They're human. All of them." Behind him, the wind carried a soft voice. The Queen's, distant but clear. "You have seen what was buried, Skyfire Man. Now you carry their truth. And truth is the most dangerous weapon of all." Ethan looked up at the sky. One of the moons dimmed, as if the planet itself had heard her words. The secret was no longer hidden, and Velora would never be the same again. The moonlight over Velora looked different that night, dimmer, almost mournful. The once glowing towers of the Crystal City flickered weakly, their blue light fading like dying stars. The destruction of the moonstone had shaken the entire planet. The air smelled of smoke and burnt energy. Ethan Cross stood on the Queen's balcony, staring at the horizon where the sacred mountain had split in half. From its wound, blue fire leaked into the sky like a bleeding heart. He still felt the tremor under his boots. The planet itself seemed restless, whispering in a voice he couldn't understand. Behind him, the great doors opened. Queen Lysara stepped out, her golden robe fluttering in the cold wind. Her face looked pale, her glow dimmer than usual. "You found what was buried," she said softly. "The mountain burns because the truth was forced to the surface." Ethan turned to her, his voice heavy. "You knew, didn't you? You knew your people were human." Lysara's eyes lowered. "I knew fragments, legends. We were told that long ago our ancestors came from the stars. But the full truth was buried. The elders called it forbidden knowledge." Ethan clenched his fists. "They weren't legends. They were my people, my family. That ship in the mountain was the colony Ark. My mother was part of that crew." Lysara's eyes widened slightly. "Your mother?" He nodded. "Her name was Eleanor Cross." For the first time, the Queen seemed speechless. She stepped closer, her voice almost trembling. "Your blood carries the last trace of the beginning. And perhaps the end." Ethan turned away. "You've been feeding on humans for a century. Turning into something else. Don't you see? The planet infected you, changed you." Her golden eyes met his. "And yet we lived. We became something greater. The planet gave us strength, connection, unity. Your kind only brought destruction." Ethan's voice rose. "That's not living, Lysara. That's surviving like predators. My mother died trying to save you." The air between them crackled. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then the Queen said quietly, "And what would you have me do? End my people's way of life because of a truth they cannot bear? Tell them they are monsters wearing human skin?" Ethan's anger cooled into sadness. "No, I want them to remember. You've lost what it means to be human." Lysara looked up at the moons. Maybe remembering is the real curse. The sound of armored footsteps broke the silence. The doors opened again. General Naira entered, her armor shining crimson under the fading light. She bowed slightly, but her tone was sharp. "My queen, the council demands action." The moonstone explosion released unstable energy. "The rivers are dying, the crystal network is failing. Our people grow weak." Ethan stepped forward. "It's because the ship's reactor is exposed. That old human energy core wasn't meant to stay buried." "I can fix it," Naira glared at him. "Lies, you caused this destruction. You bring decay wherever you walk." Ethan shot back. "You attacked me first. You destroyed the ship. You buried the truth." Naira's voice rose. "And I will bury you next, human." "Enough!" Lysara's command shook the air like thunder. Both fell silent. The Queen walked between them, her golden aura flaring for a moment. "Naira, you forget yourself. You speak before your queen as if you are her equal." Naira bowed her head, trembling with anger. "Forgive me, my queen, but I speak for the warriors. They do not trust the man. They say he will bring ruin. I cannot silence their fear." Lysara's gaze softened for a brief second. "Fear does not rule this world. I do." She turned to Ethan. "If you can truly stop the collapse, then you will have your chance. But if you fail, Velora will fall, and I will let Naira decide your fate." Ethan nodded. "Then I'll need access to the reactor chamber under the moonstone. And I'll need your trust." The Queen gave a faint smile. "You already have what little trust I have left." Later that night, as the planet groaned and the sky flashed with strange energy storms, Lysera met Ethan in the temple garden. The trees there glowed faintly gold, their roots buried deep in the sacred soil. For a moment, neither spoke. The air buzzed with tension and unspoken truth. Lysera looked tired. "I have ruled for 80 years, she said quietly. "I was born in the last generation to see a man alive. We were told they were weak, selfish, dangerous, but you are not what I expected." Ethan's voice softened. "And you're not what I expected either. You could have killed me a dozen times," she smiled faintly. "I still might." They both laughed softly, the sound strange against the silence of the alien night. Then Lysera's tone changed. "The energy within you, the power from the ritual, it grows stronger. The pool of echoes gave you part of Velora's life force. You are connected to this planet now." Ethan frowned. "Connected how?" "Your heartbeat echoes with the core's rhythm," she said. "That is why only you can reach it. But the cost may be everything." He stared at her. "You mean if I fix it, you may not survive," she finished softly. For a moment, the night seemed to freeze. Ethan looked down at the glowing rivers below. "If I don't try, your world dies. If I do, I die." Lysera stepped closer, so close he could feel her warmth. "There is another path," she whispered. "You could stay with me. Let the planet fade. Let it all end quietly. We could live the last days in peace." Ethan's throat tightened. He saw something human in her eyes, fear, sorrow, longing. He shook his head slowly. "I can't. My mother didn't give up on saving people, and neither will I." Lysera looked away, blinking back what looked like tears of light. "Then you choose sacrifice over love." "I choose what's right," he said softly. "Even if it kills me." She turned to him one last time. "Then the Queen of Velora chooses too. I will stand beside you. Whatever the stars decide." They stood together under the dying moons, two beings from the same bloodline yet from different world, the last human, and the first of what humanity had become. Far away, hidden in the shadows of a broken tower, Naira watched them, her red eyes burning. "The Queen's heart is weak," she whispered. "When he dies, so will she, and Velora will be mine." The world of Velora was breaking apart. The twin moons hung low and cracked, glowing like dying embers in a storm-dark sky. Great pillars of crystal bent and shattered as energy storms ripped through the land. The rivers of light that once fed the planet now bled red and gold, twisting like veins of a dying heart. From the Queen's tower, Ethan Cross watched as the city trembled. The glowing bridges flickered and fell, one after another, into the endless mist below. The hum of life that once filled Velora was now replaced by the deep growl of the planet's core, unstable, angry, alive. Behind him, Queen Lysera entered the chamber, her golden aura faint and trembling. The light in her eyes had dimmed. Even her voice carried the weight of exhaustion. "It has begun," she whispered. "The heart of Velora is collapsing." Ethan turned, holding his wrist scanner. The explosion under the moonstone cracked the planet's main energy vein. "If I can reach the core, I can stabilize it. But I'll need to merge my energy with it, fully." Lysera's face hardened. "You know what that means? The bond will consume you." He nodded. "If I don't, everything dies. You, your people, this world." She looked at him for a long time, her eyes full of emotion she had never shown before. "You came from the stars, Skyfire Man, and now you want to give your light to a world that never deserved it." Ethan smiled faintly. "Maybe it's what humans were meant to do, fix what we break." The doors burst open. General Naira entered, her armor glowing crimson like fire. Behind her marched rows of Velari warriors. Their eyes were bright with anger and fear. "My queen," Naira said, bowing slightly but not lowering her weapon. "The core is failing. You must order the evacuation." Lysera shook her head. "There is nowhere to go. The energy storms have closed the sky." Naira's voice grew sharper. "Then let us flee underground, or into the void if we must, but do not trust this man. He is the cause of our ruin." Ethan stepped forward. "No, I'm trying to save you." The red light of Naira's armor flared. "Save us?" "You brought the sickness back to life." "Enough," Lysera commanded, but her voice cracked slightly. Naira pointed her spear at Ethan. "He will destroy us, just as his ancestors did. End him, my queen, before it is too late." The silence that followed was heavy. Even the storm outside seemed to pause. Then Lysera spoke, her tone calm but full of fire. No, Naira, you are wrong. He is not our end. He is our chance to begin again. Nira's expression darkened. Then you are no longer fit to rule. In a flash, she lunged. Lysera's golden energy shield flared, blocking the strike. The clash sent a shockwave through the tower, shattering the walls. Warriors screamed as shards of crystal rained down. Ethan grabbed a fallen weapon, a glowing staff, and blocked Naira's next strike. Sparks flew as human and alien strength collided. Naira's movements were faster than his eyes could follow, but he fought with desperation, not skill. Lysera joined the fight, her golden light clashing with Naira's red fury. The two women moved like fire and lightning, their powers cracking the air. You've betrayed your kind, Naira shouted, striking again and again. You let him poison our queen. You poisoned this world with fear. Lysera replied, her voice echoing like thunder. The floor gave way beneath them. All three fell into the lower levels of the tower, crashing through ancient walls and landing near the crystal heart of the city. The ground pulsed with energy, wild, unstable. Cracks of glowing light spread across the floor like lightning veins. Ethan struggled to his feet, blood running down his arm. The city's heart, the core of Vailora, stood before them, a massive sphere of living light suspended in midair. Its rhythm was broken, its pulse chaotic. Every beat sent a shockwave through the ground. He stared at it, feeling its energy call to him. The same rhythm pulsed inside his chest. Lysera grabbed his hand, her voice trembling. If you merge with it, you will vanish. The planet will take everything, your body, your mind, your soul. Ethan squeezed her hand gently. Then I'll become part of Vailora. Maybe that's how humans and your people can finally be one. Naira staggered to her feet, clutching her spear. No. If he becomes one with the core, he will control the world. He will enslave us. Ethan shook his head. I don't want control. I want peace. Before she could strike, Lysera turned and faced Naira, her golden aura flaring brighter than ever. You will not stop him. Naira screamed and lunged, but Lysera met her in midair. The clash exploded in blinding light. When the glow faded, both women were on the ground. Naira motionless, her armor cracked. Lysera's breath was weak. She looked at Ethan, her golden eyes fading. Go. Before it's too late, Ethan knelt beside her. Come with me. She shook her head faintly. My strength is gone. But yours still burns. Finish what we started. He looked into her eyes one last time. Thank you for believing in me. Lysera smiled softly. Humans always chase the impossible. Perhaps that is why the stars still remember you. Then her hand fell still. Her light faded. Ethan swallowed hard, forcing down the pain. The ground rumbled again. The core screamed with energy. He stepped forward and placed his hand against it. Instantly, blinding light engulfed him. He felt his body dissolving, atoms melting into energy, spirit merging with the heartbeat of the planet. Pain and warmth became one. He saw everything. Lysera's memories, the first humans, the transformation, the sorrow of a dying world. He whispered into the light. Let there be balance. The core pulsed once, twice, then released a wave of golden light across the land. Far above, the clouds split. The twin moons brightened again, whole and shining. The shattered towers began to heal, crystals reforming like growing flowers. The rivers glowed blue once more. The Vailari who survived crawled out from the ruins and looked up. The air was calm. The storms had stopped. In the distance, the Queen's Tower stood restored, its peak glowing brighter than ever, but Ethan Cross was gone. Only his voice remained, carried on the wind like a soft whisper. We are not so different. We are one light, born from the same stars. And from the core of Vailora a new golden sun rose, gentle, warm, alive. 100 years had passed since the storm of light swallowed Vailora. The planet that once screamed with chaos now slept in perfect harmony. The rivers glowed blue again, calm and pure. The sky shimmered with gold clouds and the twin moons shone side by side, whole, unbroken. The Vailari thrived once more, their voices no longer songs of hunger or fear, but hymns of life. And at the center of their world, where the Queen's Tower once stood, rose something new, a great living monument made of golden crystal. Inside it glowed a faint human silhouette, arms spread, face peaceful, suspended in eternal light. The Vailari called it the Heart of Vailora. They did not know his name, They only called him the last human. The centuries had reshaped their world. The Vailari no longer fed on life energy. They drew strength from the core, a bond born from sacrifice. The air itself carried warmth and song. The children of this new world grew with gentle light in their veins and memories they could not explain. Dreams of a man with blue eyes and a voice like thunder. Some said he was a god. Others whispered he was a ghost. But a few, the eldest of the tribe, remembered the truth. He was a man who gave his life to save theirs. The story began again when a young Vailari girl named Ceres walked into the Golden Valley at dawn. She was small, curious, and unlike the others, her eyes were blue, the color of the old world. The elders said it was the mark of the Skyfire blood. Ceres often dreamed of a burning sky and a voice calling her name. Every time she woke, her heart would ache, though she didn't know why. That morning she followed the whisper again, soft, distant, but real. It led her to the monument where the human figure glowed faintly inside the crystal. "Who are you?" she whispered, placing her hand on the glass. The crystal pulsed gently under her touch, and a soft voice answered inside her mind. "Ethan," she gasped, stepping back. "You speak." The voice was calm, almost like a memory. "I dream with the world now." "Who are you, child?" "I'm Ceres," she said softly. "They say you saved us. Long ago." A faint shimmer rippled through the crystal. "Saved you, or became part of you. The lines are blurred now." Ceres's eyes widened. "Are you alive?" "In a way," the voice replied. "My body became light. My heart became the planet's rhythm. I see through the rivers, hear through the winds. Vailora breathes through me." Ceres hesitated. "Then you're still here?" "Always," Ethan said. "But the world doesn't need me anymore. It belongs to you." As they spoke far away in the mountains, the council of Vailora gathered. The elders had sensed the awakening, the pulse of the core growing stronger again. Some feared it meant the man's spirit was returning to reclaim what was his. One of them, a tall woman with silver hair, spoke softly. "The light that saved us might also destroy us if it wakes." Another answered, "Then perhaps we have not learned at all. Fear is the first step back to ruin." They sent a messenger to find the girl, to bring her back before she touched what was forbidden. But Ceres did not stop. The voice grew, clearer as she pressed her hand to the crystal again. "You carry my memory, Ceres. My light chose you. You are the bridge between human and Vailari." She frowned. "Why me?" "Because your soul remembers both worlds. You are what I hoped would come. Not human, not alien, but the balance." The air trembled. The monument began to glow brighter. The trees outside shivered with golden light. Ceres felt something stir deep in her chest. A warmth, gentle and familiar. "It feels like you're inside me." "Yes," Ethan said, his voice fading like wind. "My time is ending, Ceres. The core no longer needs my energy. The world is healing on its own. But before I go, I must leave you a choice." "A choice?" "The planet's core is alive. It can carry my consciousness forever, or release it into the stars. If you free me, I will fade. If you keep me, I remain bound to this world." Ceres's heart pounded. "I don't want you to fade." "Everything that lives must pass," he said gently. "That is what your ancestors forgot. That is what destroyed them." Tears formed in her glowing eyes. "But if you go, we'll forget you. Then remember not my name, but what I gave. Hope, compassion, unity. That is the fire humanity left behind." The monument glowed brighter and brighter until the whole valley shone like a second sunrise. Ceres closed her eyes and whispered, "Then be free." A soft hum filled the air. The crystal cracked open, not in destruction but in release. 1,000 golden fragments rose into the sky like fireflies swirling around her. For a moment she saw him, Ethan Cross, standing before her, not as light, but as the man he once was. His uniform was torn, his eyes calm. He smiled faintly. "You've done well, Ceres. Tell them the stars remember." She reached out, but her hand passed through him. The golden fragments lifted higher, joining the morning light, and then he was gone. That night the Vailari gathered in the valley. The monument was gone, replaced by a single glowing tree that pulsed gently like a heartbeat. Its leaves shimmered gold and blue, human and Vailari colors intertwined. Ceres stood beneath it, her eyes wet but peaceful. The elders bowed, and the people sang a new song, and not of war, not of sorrow, but of peace. The stars above seemed to shine brighter, forming shapes that looked almost like wings. And far beyond the clouds, where no Valari could see, a faint streak of light crossed the sky, the echo of a human soul returning home. In that moment, Valora knew true balance. Not man, not alien, just life. The legend of the Skyfire Man lived on, not in stone, not in stories, but in every heartbeat that glowed with light. And though his name faded with time, the world he saved never forgot the warmth of the last human. The end.